Welcome to DIYEasyCrafts.com, how to make a hand railing for a ship in a bottle. Now, hand railings can be a nice accent to most ship-in bottles, whether it be a sailing ship or a modern-day yacht. They can really enhance the project greatly. The method we use, and there are certainly several different methods of doing these, is to use wire. We start with a small drill in a pin vise or a handheld drill bit holder. It's called a pin vise, and we just drill holes for each one of the hand railings uprights. For this particular model, I'm drilling them at an angle because each one of those uprights on this particular vessel is angled forward. I'm making note to drill the holes on both sides in the same position so that the hand railings match up and are uniform. And then I'm going to decide on the size of the wire based on the scale of the particular model that you're using. In this particular case, I'm going to use, I think it's 0.33 millimeter wire, which is the thinner size. And of course, the different size drill bits will match the different size wire that you use. I'm going to cut each one of the uprights. So I have a whole little pile of cut wire. I'm going to dip each piece individually into some Elmer's glue and then insert it into the hole which I already drilled. I am not putting a piece of wire in the end holes on both sides of this particular vessel. And I'm just going to repeat the process over and over until all of the uprights are in position. Then we're going to start to work on the hand railing itself. Before I do that, I just pull up each one of those hand railing uprights so that they're all basically the same height. You could cut these all to the same height, or you could do what I did. I drill all of the holes just a little bit deeper than necessary, and this way I can push them in or pull them out in order to match them to the height of the hand railing. I'll show you what I mean in a little bit. Now, I pulled a longer length of that same wire out. I'm just using a tweezer to make the bend for the bow bend. And then I'm just going to hold it in position and mark where it has to bend on the port side to match up with the last hole, or the empty hole for the hand railing. I am going to make this bend with a pair of tweezers so it's a sharp bend rather than a loose bend. And then I'm going to trim it off. And I can insert this into that hole on the port side at this time. We'll take it out, but just for sizing, I'm going to insert that on the port side. I'm going to wrap the wire around. I'm going to mark with the tweezer where I want the bend on the starboard side, and I'll make that bend and also trim it. That's basically the hand railing. Now, the hardest part, which is to get this glued in position on top of each one of those uprights. Now, for this, I used to do it with Elmer's glue, but I find that using a two-part epoxy, a quick drying 5-minute two-part epoxy, just is easier to work with. It just dries a little bit stronger and a little bit faster. You don't have to hold it in position quite as long. I'm using a small piece of wire to add a little bit of glue to the very top end of each one of those uprights. And then I'm going to hold the hand railing in position. I've inserted the ends of the hand railing into the holes on the port and starboard side of the deck house. And now I'm just going to position each one of those hand railings. I'm going to pull it up slightly or pull it out or push it in, whatever needs to be done in order to get that upright touching the hand railing and the epoxy touching that hand railing. And now this is where you have to be a little bit patient. It's 5-minute epoxy. You basically have to hold it in position for 4 or 5 minutes. Don't forget, we're only gluing the front 4 or 6 uprights and then holding it in position for that 4 or 5 minutes. Once that's dry, then you can repeat the process and glue each of the uprights as you move your way backwards. And for each one of those, I'm just going to add a little drop of that 2-part epoxy, and then I'll use the tweezer to pull that upright into position. And sometimes you have to pull it, to the left or right, position it so that it looks appropriate. It is those first 4 or 6 uprights that's the hardest to get balanced. But once those are dry, then it's a very, very easy process. The same process can be used on a variety of different vessels, whether it be a sailing ship or a motor yacht or a fishing vessel. And they really do make a nice character difference in the finished product. A very simple, easy way of making hand railings for almost any ship-in-a-bottle project. To learn more about the basics of building ships in bottles, please refer to the book Build a Ship in a Bottle by Captain Dan Berg, or his newer book Shipwreck in a Bottle. Please check us out on the web at DIYEasyCrafts.com. Be sure to check out our other how-to videos. And if you like this video, please subscribe to this YouTube channel.